Hello everyone and welcome to This is America. Today's guest is Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Hussain Abdul-Hussain. But first, here are the top US news for the week. The Trump administration branded Chicago a war zone as a justification for deploying soldiers against the will of local Democratic officials, while a judge blocked the White House from sending troops to another Democrat-run city. Donald Trump's unprecedented expansion of the powers of the U.S. presidency will be put to the test when the Supreme Court returns for its fall term. The question will be whether it serves as a check on President Trump or just a rubber stamp approving his actions. Delegations from Hamas, Israel, and the United States are convening in Egypt for talks with President Donald Trump, urging negotiators to move fast to end the nearly two-year war in Gaza. Both Hamas and Israel have responded positively to Trump's proposal for an end to the fighting and the release of captives in Gaza in exchange for Palestinians held in Israeli jails. President Donald Trump said talks on implementing a truce for Gaza will take days, while his foreign policy chief, Marco Rubio, warned that Israel needs to stop bombing for a hostage release to happen. They're in negotiations right now as we speak. They've started the negotiations. It'll last a couple of days, Trump told reporters at the White House. We'll see how it turns out, but I'm hearing it's going very well, he added. And that's your US recap of the week. What is a shutdown? Every year around this time, Washington faces the same drama. The US government might shut down. Here's why. Congress has to pass 12 bills to fund federal agencies. If they don't, and no temporary deal is made, the money stops and parts of the government literally shut down. Passport offices closed, national parks locked, health and safety inspections paused. But essentials like border security, social security, and air traffic control still run. Funding for low-income families, community health centers, flood insurance, even EV tax credits, all could expire. During the 2019 shutdown, 850,000 federal workers went unpaid and the economy lost $11 billion. Shutdowns have become a weapon in budget fights. Clinton in the 90s, Obama in 2013, Trump in 2019, and now it's all happening again. If Congress can't strike a deal soon, America could face another shutdown. It's with great pleasure that I welcome my guest, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Hussain Abdul-Hussain. Mr. Abdul-Hussain, thank you for being with us for this special edition dedicated to October 7. Let's jump right in. How do you evaluate the past 2 years of war in Gaza?
In one word, disastrous. There's no reason why this war happened. There's no reason why Hamas started it. There's no reason why Hamas never surrendered to end it. Most of this war has been populism and posturing, and so many lives lost on both sides could have been still alive and with us today had it not been for the craziness and the violence that Hamas started on this day 2 years ago.
Do you think that the talks in Cairo will have a positive outcome? Because Donald Trump seems very confident that it will.
I am hopeful that this round would be different from all the previous rounds. And for the mere fact that President Trump has attached his name personally to the plan. So these are not only points that are up for discussion. This is his vision. And I think he made it clear that anyone who opposes his vision will have to pay dearly, first and foremost Hamas. We know that Israel has endorsed this, the Trump plan to end the war in Gaza. Arab and Islamic countries, the most influential ones amongst them, have also accepted it. So now it's incumbent on Hamas to accept it. My understanding is that all parties are on board now. And what remains is to agree on execution, on how to make it happen. But my understanding is that everyone has accepted the plan.
Okay, but still, does Hamas still have any margin for negotiating a deal, in your opinion?
I think Hamas is trying to maneuver. If you want to understand how Hamas behaves, just look at the way that Hezbollah has been behaving. What they do is that they try to accept a ceasefire, and then eventually they move the goalposts. They pretend as if the agreement as if that they signed on a different agreement. Their main purpose here is to keep their arms. Hamas and Hezbollah are willing to trade everything and everyone, including the lives of the people who support them, the tens of thousands of people who were killed in this war, only to keep their arms. Will they succeed this time? I doubt it, and I hope not. But if there's any obstruction, I think that would be the obstruction to peace.
Should a deal actually take place, would it have any consequence on Hezbollah in Lebanon or any other Iranian proxy?
With each one of these ceasefires and with each one of victories that Israel scores against Iran and the arms of Iran, of course, not the arms only. We know that in June, Israel went after Iran itself. In each one of these rounds of war, Iran and its axis have been weakened further. What they do is that after every ceasefire, whether it's Iran or Hezbollah or Hamas or anybody else in this axis, they try to accept a ceasefire and then they try to reorganize and rebound. We are certain that Hezbollah is trying to do this in Lebanon, and this might bring the war back, unfortunately, to Lebanon. And I think, or I'm almost certain that Hamas will try to do the same in Gaza. Once the shooting stops, they will try to come back in one way or another. And I think that the reason why everyone has this detailed plan is to make sure that once the shooting stops, Hamas doesn't come back so that there won't be another round of war in the future.
Okay, in your latest op-ed, you said, and I quote, that friends of Palestinians, particularly in the Arab and Muslim world, have failed them. How is that, and how is the US trying to help Palestinians?
Look, I think we spent the past 2 years blaming the Israelis instead of looking inwards. The reason why this war started is because Hamas is a non-state actor that launched a war without consulting any government, without consulting the Palestinian Authority, without consulting any of the Arab governments that were eventually asked to come to the rescue of Hamas. So what you see here is that are that militias that start wars, and then after that the war goes on because these militias and their friends and the majority of the Arabs and Palestinians start bashing Israel instead of looking inwards and practicing self-criticism. Introspection is desperately required, whether in Lebanon or in Gaza or in many parts of the Middle East that look like failing states, whether in Yemen or in Iraq or in Syria. Instead of practicing this introspection, and here I'm talking about mainly about intellectuals and people in the social sciences in the Arab and Islamic world, they go and bash Israel. And this makes it easier for them because it's really easy to blame others for your own mistakes. And that's why I said this is an Arab and Islamic failure over the past 2 years. Instead of fixing from within, what they've been doing is blaming the other and blaming aliens for their own problems.
Hussain Abdul-Hussain, thank you so much for being my guest on This is America, and thank you for sharing those insights. Coming up next, we take a closer look at the US shutdown and its effects on the ground. Here's a report by Colleen Antoun.
In Washington, D.C., the National Gallery of Art has shut its doors to the public. A sign at the entrance reads, "Closed due to federal government shutdown." The closure comes as the U.S. federal government enters its 5th day of paralysis, with no resolution in sight.
The motion is not agreed to.
The budget impasse has forced several public institutions to suspend operations, leaving tourists and locals alike locked out of cultural landmarks. Across the country, essential services are being disrupted, and thousands of federal employees face furloughs.
All we need are 5 Democrat senators to do the right thing and to stop this shutdown.
A top Democrat confirmed that no negotiations have taken place since Monday, deepening concerns over the prolonged deadlock. For now, the halls of one of America's most treasured art museums remain silent. And the question lingers: when will Washington reopen?
That's it for today's episode. The replay is available on all This is Beirut's platforms. Thank you all for watching and see you next Wednesday.